It's probably the most famous quote from the first Black Panther movie.
Don't scare me like that, Coloniser.
But I'm not sure people really understand what that one term means.
Okay, so let's agree that it should not be okay to use racial slurs against any ethnicity in any film like this. Because the way these characters talk about white people is incredibly regressive. Because boy does the main character Shuri love throwing around that term colonizer.
I think that's an extremely simplistic interpretation of the term colonizer though. I assert that the reason Shuri calls Everett Ross a colonizer is not because he's white, but because he's American. When people think of the word empire, they often think of European countries like Britain and more ancient examples like Rome or Babylon. But I think we need to face the reality that the United States of America has a long history of imperialism. It started with 13 states and expanded west, conquering as it went, committing both literal and cultural genocide of indigenous peoples. It overthrew the Hawaiian monarchy, and to this day, Puerto Rico is still a colony of the US. Since the Black Panther films are about an African nation, even though it's fictional, I should also mention this. If you're a Black American, you may have heard someone say to you or about you,
in America, planes leave every hour from Tampa Airport. Go back to Africa. Go back to Africa.
Well, the US tried to make this happen. In 1822, the Society for the Colonization of Free People of Color of America got a piece of the African pie and declared the colony of Liberia. The idea was to relocate free people of color there, since the society thought that they could not integrate into American society. Definitely not for racist reasons, of course. Nope. This failed experiment is an interesting bit of history, and I'd encourage you to look into it. Liberia declared its independence in 1847, but the US didn't recognize that independence until 1862. Anyway, Wakanda Forever shows that Shuri is knowledgeable of the history of the Americas, since she is able to identify Namor as Mesoamerican. She would most definitely know the colonial, imperial past and present of the United States, and so it makes sense that they would slip out when an American CIA operative startles her. This reading of the term also gives the film a more significant meaning than simply white people equal bad. Towards the end of the film, Eric Killmonger says,
"The sun will never set on the Wakandan Empire."
Eric is who he is because of his experiences and those of his ancestors.
Everybody dies. It's just life around here.
You know where I'm from. When black folks started revolutions, they never had the firepower or the resources to fight their oppressors.
He decides that the way to liberate the people oppressed by colonizers all over the world is to overpower these colonizers, strike them down.
I know how colonizers think, so we're gonna use their own strategy against them.
Eric Killmonger, so hurt by his past, seeks to become the very thing that hurt him. So instead of being an anti-white tirade, the Black Panther films, both of them, are about the impact of colonialism. This is what the films are critiquing and showing us. To make it about white against black or black against white is to oversimplify or miss the message altogether.